Action.
Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
So what brings you in?
Having issues with my spending. It seems to, no matter how much money I make, I am having problems keeping it in the bank or in my wallet because of pay my bills, and then the leftover money I spend it on what, collecting superhero figures, and no matter how many I get, it's never enough. It's sort of that once too many, 1,000 never enough scenario, and I'm having a real problem with it.
How long has this been taking place for you?
About a year and a half. It seems like I quit smoking, and that kicked up after that.
Okay.
So it seems like it escalated to, it was like, I went from a $50 figure was a lot to a $500 figure seems reasonable. And it's just getting worse and worse. And I love it. It's something that normal people do too. I'm an addict, but it seems like I can rationalize it because it's not drugs or alcohol, and but it's still making my life unmanageable.
Yeah, I can understand how that makes you feel because, like you stated, you're a recovering addict, and now you picked up this other habit of buying these action figures. So I can see how that is damaging you financially. So what do you think you can do to work through this?
Stay off the sites that they sell. Kind of like people, places, and things. Just staying away from the bar is kind of like staying away from eBay for me. See, it's fun. It is fun, but for an addict, there's no moderation. And I'm finding myself, I work in the field of addiction, so I'm finding myself rationalizing things and saying to myself, well, it's not drugs, it's not alcohol, so it's okay, it's all right, it's doable, and it's something that I can actually hold and that is valued and will make me money in the future. So that actually helps me rationalize too, because it is an investment in one way, but in another way, if something comes up, I can't pay for it.
So how does it affect you when you're not able to, purchase an action figure? Say you done paid all your bills and you're not able to purchase one this week or next week.
It's almost like a feeding process. It's almost like a craving. I'll go on a website and like I don't know, flirt with the idea of buying one. Actually, I look out, even though I don't have the money, to look at the best deals, and yeah, it's definitely a problem. But see, working some steps in the past and doing some things to, and working in the field of addiction, I believe that if I I don't believe I have to stop altogether, but there has to be a limit, and it's almost like until I can do it, maybe I need to give my father or someone else my money and say, well, look, I can buy one of these every 4 months, not 4 of them every 1 month, and something like that. That's the way I'll have to deal with it. But yeah, it's definitely a problem right now as we speak.
It's good that you're able to recognize that this has become a problem for you and you're aware of the issue that's going on. So right now you need to focus on making a plan. I heard you say that you can, give your money to your father and, cut back on your spending. So that's a start. That's a good start. So what are some other ways you can work on dealing with this problem?
Like I said, staying off the internet on certain sites, because it gives me that same feeling in my stomach, that same, like when I'm waiting on a figure that day, it gives me that same, and that excitement. It's but then I get it and it's like that excitement goes away, so
yes.
then I crave for another one. and it's the same feeling as, waiting to get drunk, or, it's the same feeling. So the the other thing I can do is possibly, like I'm doing now.
Okay.
And leave it in the open. Out in the open, it's easier to see the problem when it's brought to the light.
Okay. So what are some ways we can challenge that thought process of when you're not able to get the action figure because of financial reasons, or your father is able to recognize, like, Chris, you spending too much money on these action figures, so that'll have you thinking a certain type of way. So what are some ways you could challenge that distorted thinking when you're not able to get what you want?
Well, to challenge it, while I was in the store, and then I was looking at something in the grocery store, and I'm like, $5 for this cheese, and then I'm like, hold on, I just spent $500 on a freaking Iron Man figure. Like, okay, yeah, we're not rationalizing it all, right? So another way is to remember that things like that should be a prize for myself, a reward, not just a common thing. Not just when I get paid, go out and spend $1,000 on action figures. I should be able to put a certain amount of money away for this, certain money away for savings. So I'm challenging it by setting myself some goals, some go on vacation, some money to put away for like escrow, like for car problems and stuff like that.
Okay. So what I hear you saying is, here I'm dealing with this problem of buying the action figures, and I need to come up with a better way to learn how to save money and not spend all this money on action figures, because I'm able to recognize that it has become an addiction for me. So you made a plan, so that's good. You just sat here and challenged the negative thoughts that you have when you deal with this of not being able to buy these action figures. So it sounds like you're doing a pretty good job right now, but I know you have your good times and your bad times. So during your bad times, what else have you done to help you get through this?
I would say right now is as bad as it gets, because I haven't bought one. I just got paid, and I haven't sent my money to my father yet, and I've got like sitting on $1,000, and I'm still just like, but I haven't done it, and I'm not doing it. So that's the way. Kind of like holding myself in the light.
So while you feel you haven't done it and you're sitting on the money, and you can't do it other times when you're sitting on money?
I'm getting better with it.
You getting better with it?
Yeah, I'm not going on the websites as much. I'm not. I'm remembering that I don't want to be broke, and I'm working, and I like to save my money instead of spending it. I guess I'm dealing with it.
Okay.
But there's certain times I'm weaker than others. Like in the back of my mind, still want to go back and buy one, but I'm not. I rationalize too. Today's a one way, and then tomorrow's the next. So I think I'm doing better, and it's just a one day at a time thing.
Okay. So how can you find that balance where you taking care of, you mentioned you taking care of your responsibilities, and that's good, but with your extra money, you buying these action figures. So how can we find that balance? What can we do to bring that balance?
Well,
we mentioned one good plan, so
yeah.
let's think of an alternative coping skill that we can use, that we can implement to help you with this.
Yeah, find some other type of hobby instead to take my mind off of it. I started exercising, walking the dog more, and lifting weights and stuff like that. I have some medical problems which hold me back from lifting a lot of weights and over exuberating myself, but I can put myself out there a little bit just to kind of get exercise, and it takes my mind out, because when I'm laying around watching TV and stuff like that and just working, it floats in my mind. So I figured come up with a different life skill to kind of like
Okay.
balance it out a little bit.
Okay.
Because the less free time I have, the less time I have to think about that.
Right. Because I know it's a lot of people that's into collecting, and I'm quite sure at one point in time they may have experienced the same thoughts, feelings, and behaviors behind the whole collecting thing. But at some point, we got to find that in between ground. You know, where we not is all or nothing. We're not using it all or nothing. Either I'm gonna get them or I'm not gonna get them. And then when you don't get them, you're feeling some type of way, and then you get in your feelings. So we gotta find basically what we're searching for is some balance.
From what I speak, when I speak to other people that have collected, they all went through it, where they were going crazy, and then they slowed down. So I think I'm starting to. I mean, if you remember when I was talking to you about it before, I was getting 10 a month.
Yes.
And not to rationalize, but I got 1 this month. So, you know, we slow down. I don't know if it's necessarily as bad as the drugs and alcohol, but it's definitely making my life unmanageable, so it's a problem. And that's kind of how I relate to all my problems in life now, is I try to work the necessary steps to deal with that issue.
Right. I can relate and understand when it comes to the hardship, or here it is, I found something that I like, I stopped using drugs, and it's not affecting me in no type of way physically, you know, but I found this hobby that I like collecting, so I understand why you feel like that, and you do the collecting and how you embrace the collecting. But we just have to be mindful of not taking it too far. Again, just finding that balance like we discussed. So stick with the plan, you know, finding other things that can help you cope, and, you know, letting your father take a part of, you know, your spending expenses.
Yeah, it seems a little childish to have my father, but you know, you got to use the steps we have in front of us, you know, and the way I have to do it is to kind of like learn from scratch. They say you are mentally the age that you stopped using, you know, so, you know, I mean, that you started using.
Yes.
So it's like, you know,
I understand.
I got to learn all this stuff from scratch.
I understand.
And just because I stopped drinking, you know, 4.5 years ago doesn't mean that, you know, I've learned everything over that period of time. So.
Right. So I'm here for you. We're going to work through this, and in our next session, we'll continue from where we left off at.
Sounds
Okay?
great. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Uh-huh.